dear friends. My name is Dr. Anna Brodski. I'm an anthroposophic physician and I'm a GP. I'm working in the NHS. And this video I want to do about anthroposophic medicine simply because nobody knows what that is, in the UK at least, and that's really sad. So let's change it. Anthroposophic medicine was created from Rudolf Steiner's works about 100 years ago. He is the creator of anthroposophy itself and world of education, so some of you will have come across it. Anthroposophy really has a different name. It goes by spiritual science or esoteric Christianity, and all of these things are true. Essentially, anthroposophy is a Western spirituality, and I think people in the West really desperately need anthroposophic medicine. It allows us to open our eyes to the fact that human being is a spirit in the first place, in the second is a soul, in the third energy, and only in the fourth place physical body. And that adds a lot of dimensions to the healing process. It adds the understanding of the causality of the illness. Because without anthroposophic medicine, we're kind of going in circles a little bit in terms of what caused this, that, or the other. Now, it's so important that I make this clear. Anthroposophic medicine is not a complementary therapy. The way it was created was to be like an extension of normal, usual medicine. All of us anthroposophic physicians must be trained, practicing, registered, mainstream or normal doctors, and only then we can do our training in anthroposophic medicine, do our exams or whatever, get the diploma and practice as anthroposophic physicians. This is the only way it was meant to be, and the reason for this is anthroposophic medicine is part of mainstream medicine, or rather, looking from future backwards, mainstream medicine is part of anthroposophic medicine, because anthroposophic medicine has much more broad overview of the human being than mainstream can ever conceive, because in mainstream medicine we're still a little bit behind. However, I am going to emphasize this again very strongly. There is no clash between anthroposophic medicine and mainstream medicine. We practice both together, hand by hand. And as much as a lot of people would like to see a clash, for example, vaccine lovers, vaccine haters, all of this came about during COVID, I do think those approaches bypass the point, because what anthroposophic medicine is balance. It is incarnated balance. Literally everything in anthroposophic medicine is about achieving that balance. And we're losing the balance when we become fanatics, or I don't want to go into this, but extreme views on vaccines, I think, is not a balance, because after all, everybody's individual, everybody's circumstances are individual, and this is how I make my decisions, based on the individual circumstances and the needs of a particular person. It's not like there is a blanket decision for everything, not at all. And please don't drag anthroposophy into this. We're against vaccines. No, you're against vaccines, and the rest of us, we need to find balance depending on the situation. Well, at least this is how it goes with me. I'm always looking for the balance, and the healing is always in the balance, never in the extremes. So why anthroposophic medicine? It seems that mainstream medicine covers everything. I don't think so. I don't think it covers everything. I think there is a big black hole when it comes to the actual human being and mainstream medicine. We have covered a lot of ground with medication, with investigations, and surgery is very often life-saving. It's amazing what can be done, and this is undeniable. I'm very proud of modern medical achievements. But we are missing a bigger picture still. And this is where anthroposophy can shed light onto the human being. So when you look at the human being and you acknowledge, okay, this is a human being, they have a spirit which has a purpose on this earth. And whether they're able to follow this purpose or not, it also actually reflects on their health. This human being has a soul, and whether they are in touch with their emotions and how they handle their emotions has a massive reflection on health. I feel very strongly that probably more than 90% of acquired illnesses are linked with what's going on in our soul and how we can find the balance in our soul. It is the challenge of modern human beings to really work with our souls, to process negative emotions, to forgive and find balance and redemption to our, internal darkness. And again, I have nothing wrong with darkness. I think work with it. That's what we need to do. It's there for a reason, because behind the darkness there is always light. So going back to the human being, so in anthroposophic medicine we see the human being as having spirit, soul, and next is the energy body or etheric body. And this is your vitality. This is what plants have, animals have it, but in plants they don't have anything else. This is why they have such high vitality. So I will digress in a little bit. In anthroposophic medicine, the way medicines are developed is out of the relationship that human being has with the nature. So for example, the physical body, we share it with the mineral realm, the plants and the animals. Everybody has a physical body. The energy body we share with plants and animals. Most people cannot see energy body. And the soul we share with animals. So plants as such don't have the soul, and this is why plants are so healthy. So if a plant is unhealthy, it's not like it has created its own illness. There is something in the environment that is making this plant unhealthy, and remove that and the plant will be healthy. Whereas for animals and for humans, much more for humans, the soul can actually, whatever's going in the soul and however the soul is interacting with the physical body and with energy, can produce illness. Especially so for the human being, who, as opposed to animals, plants and minerals, has also the spirit. So the spirit and soul in a human being needs evolving. So we come here to evolve. And as part of that evolution, we kind of consume our body and energy. And it's really, really important to learn to balance our soul. Our lifestyle goes with that, of course, to stop the decay of the physical body from, progressing too fast. We know that we all have to die or go through death, but we don't have to speed that process up. And a lot of things, a lot of experiences that human beings have in their soul, a lot of trauma. I mean, most people have lived on earth a few times before. There are a lot of old souls around, which I have massive respect for. But what we do as old souls, we quite often bring a lot of baggage with us. And that baggage, I mean, now we're talking mechanisms of karma, I feel. One of them, I can see that it's basically all the stuck emotions that we're really struggling to move beyond. So either, examples, either somebody has a really angry temperament, and it's fine to have an angry temperament, okay, people don't like you, but what is happening to the body of that individual? There will be illness. It can manifest in different ways. It can be, I won't go into what it could be, it really depends. But anger is a very damaging emotion to carry around. And anger, of course, is on the spectrum of hatred, and spectrum of hatred is massive. It doesn't have to be an armed conflict. It could be as subtle as somebody is irritating me, but actually I feel that that is on the spectrum of hatred. And we have so much work to do on the soul level to heal ourselves. And this is where anthroposophic medicine can be the guiding light. And here I can also add that there are some other very beautiful techniques, like in anthroposophic medicine, I feel it hardly ever contradicts other paths of wisdom. So you could be having counseling, you could be having hypnotherapy, psych K, emotion code. I feel all of this really harmonizes with anthroposophic understanding, and I do recommend that my patients use more than one modality to help themselves. And the main thing about anthroposophic medicine, it gives the patient orientation, it gives the patient understanding of themselves and the processes that are going on behind the illness, so that you could actually work on the level of causality to turn things around. And often this will entail soul work. A lot of the time I observe how in mainstream medicine there is a tendency to want to be fixed by the doctor. I understand where this comes from, life is really difficult, and then of course you don't want to necessarily be solving problems of your own health. This is not aimed at, everyone who is crazy about their health. You are different. But there is this tendency to delegate your health to the doctor, and I just think this is the worst thing to do, because you give your power away on such a fundamental level. Fundamentally, your health is your responsibility, and illnesses that one is going through are not there by chance. You might want to believe that, but they're not there by chance. This is what anthroposophy helps us see and understand, where, with how did this come about. And then this is why it's so good to have therapy or talk to somebody who can understand things. I think it's good to have therapy as well as anthroposophic medicine, because basically once you realize what's been going on in your particular case and how you have been contributing to your illness, you can start doing the soul work. But of course, before you can start doing the soul work, you need to, accept the situation, accept the responsibility, and then you can work. But these steps cannot be taken for granted. Everybody has got their own pace, and usually you move much faster if you're not doing it alone. That's why I think having an access to therapy, a good therapist, having an access to a good anthroposophic doctor is tremendously useful. It's just, without anthroposophic medicine, we are so in the dark. And we're so in the dark, it's unbelievable. How can we even conceive that cancer was born, on a physical level? Of course, it is convenient then to believe that, yeah, I have nothing to do with this. This is an ugly thing in my body. Right. But this is not the path towards healing. Path towards healing calls us to learn to take responsibility for what is, to accept what is. And only once we've accepted, then we can start working with it. So it takes a lot of courage. And this is why anthroposophic medicine is not for everybody. You have to be dedicated. You have to be prepared to do the work. My prescriptions, when I do them for my patients, prescriptions, you can call them instructions or advice, they always contain something along the lines of inner work, because without it, we're really bypassing the point. So I am saying that anthroposophic medicine will help you literally open your eyes to who you are, and how who you are reflects on your health, and why, find direction, how to go on, how to go forward. And generally it will be a very empowering experience. I do believe that anthroposophic medicine is going to grow in this country, and it needs to grow because we need it so desperately. Oh my God, it's sometimes it's very painful to practice mainstream medicine when there is so little sense that can be made of illness, within 10 minutes especially. But through anthroposophic medicine, it's quite possible to find the meaning, why this is all happening. And once you have found the meaning, this is also part of the counseling, biographical counseling, is basically, there is a beautiful Christian priest in the States, I don't remember his name right now, but he says, turning scars into stars. And I really love it, because all the painful things that have happened to one and once through one's biography, at least what we can remember, live alone past lives, that's also a story, but let's say it's a separate story. We don't have to go there straight away necessarily, because whatever's happening in this life already takes into account some of the stuff that has happened before. I have lost my train of thought. I think I was saying, basically, anthroposophic medicine really helps you to take power back, take your control back. Control is a funny word. Take your power back and start being in charge of your health, and not rely on health professionals to just fix you. You just need to understand what's going on and why it's going on. So yeah, I invite you to maybe read some anthroposophic books. My favorite book is Anthroposophic Leading Thoughts, so Leading Thoughts of Anthroposophy. It's not I don't know, I mean, I love it because it's so dense and it's so contentful. There is literally nothing extra. There is no fluff that sometimes can come at the beginning of the lecture. It just goes directly into the core of anthroposophy. But there are lots of good books and they're all good. Anyway, I hope this was helpful. Sending you all a lot of love.